the other action movies that are out there?
I would venture to say it's the initial enthusiasm that Jerry has for the movies that he wants to make, because some producers, and I know this pretty well, that some producers try to divine what the public wants to see, but Jerry only makes what he wants to see himself, and it served him very well. And so some people say, well, he has his pulse on the public, he has, but it's really what he wants to see himself, and it all boils down to him being in a Detroit theater as a young teenager with a bag of popcorn and wanting to see the movie. And he's never abandoned that approach. He really only makes what he wants to see, and when he really believes in it, he'll take the risk and throw a lot of money into it, and it usually pays off.
That's awesome.
So,
you said your career started here.
Yeah.
With the first Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest change in your career to date, and then what's the thing that has stayed the same in your life?
Wow, that's an extraordinary, broad, and profound question.
Oh, very specific questions.
Okay. Now, what was different after Beverly Hills Cop?
What's been the biggest change in since the beginning of your career? What's the biggest change in your life?
Okay, I think moving from acting to slogging along and raising money to make some movies that I want to see. So that's what my wife Amy and I are doing now. And the past 2 years hasn't been the best time to raise money, but we're doing it. So
charging on. And then what stayed the same? What's been grounded in your life since your career?
The first thing that comes to mind is my love of movies and my love of storytelling, and Jerry has that. I love seeing him on a set, just so enthusiastic and just loving the movie-making process. And as a young actor, I learned that from him,
Awesome.
Yeah, it's all about loving to tell stories and entertain people.
What are the movies that you want to make?
Pardon?
What are the movies that you want to make?
Well, I don't know. What should I say? Okay, I'm sorry. Can I take that again? Because I don't want to be indiscreet. Because there's an extraordinary true story about a guy named Bill Tomes that in 1983 walked into the Chicago projects and would stand in the middle of gang gunfire. And 54 times he did this. He was a white man from affluent Evanston, Illinois. And here at Cabrini Green Housing Project was one of the most dangerous areas in the country. That, and they were comparing it to Beirut, Lebanon at the time. And so we want to tell this amazing story and leave it to the audience to decide why he wasn't hit. It's just extraordinary. And we have eyewitnesses, and he is very much alive and still working in Chicago. And now, unfortunately, we're very significant in a tragic way because of all the violence in Chicago.
So what was your role in putting this project together?
Well, I read the original story that was in a magazine, and then I toiled away for a couple of years to raise the money for Angelo Pizzo, who wrote the movie Rudy and Hoosiers. So actually, the toughest money to raise is when you have an idea, and it's the story is such an abstraction. It's actually easier to raise the money to have a movie produced than it is to have a script written. So that's So. We've stuck with it, and we're very excited about it. We're about halfway there.
On the lighter side, Prince or Princess? Your favorite?
Prince or Princess? Are we talking about a specific movie, or what I want to be? I want to be.
It's open. I'm guessing you're going to say Princess. You're standing next to one.
I know. Thank you so much. Yes. Well, no, actually, I'm changing my name from Judge Reinhold, the actor previously known as Judge Reinhold, to just Ja.
Ja.
But maybe it'll be Prince Ja. Prince Ja. Yeah.
Can I get a quick shout out?
Prince Ja. Yeah.
Would you mind saying?
Sure.
I'm Judge Reinhold, and you're watching Buzzine.com.
Buzzine. Hi, I'm Judge Reinhold, and you're watching Buzzine.com.
Thank you so much.
You're awesome.
Thank you very much.
Hey, do you know where Ireland is?
That's what you said. You led with that. So you walked up, man. It's awesome.
I wanted to talk to Ireland. Okay.
Judge, one quick couple.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Couple questions. Do you have a couple?
Sure.
I'm Holly with Teen Scene. How are you?
Hi. Hi, my wife Amy.
Hi. I'm a huge fan.
Well, thank
Cop
you.
it really seriously.
Yeah, it opened
awesome.
here.
It did it?
Yeah, in
Wait,
84.
84.
Yeah.
I was 4. Awesome. I totally remember it. I wanted to actually ask about that film. What was like one of your favorite memories of that film working with Jerry? Like, is it maybe something funny that happened while you're on set?
Well, yeah, I'd have to say that it was so extraordinary. His partner, Don Simpson, Don was the bigger than life, kind of, loud and really adventurous guy. Jerry's very adventurous too, but in a quieter way. But Don, the first day of shooting, brought me up to the trunk of his car, opened the trunk of his car, and it was filled with automatic weapons. And little did I know that a few years later, when we did the sequel, that I would be playing that scene of opening the trunk.
Okay.
So that was funny. But in terms of working with Jerry, he was extremely supportive. He'd always tell us what he liked when he'd see the dailies. He'd see the day before's footage, and he was such a great audience. And I remember that kind of support. Now, looking back, it's very rare when you have that kind of support from a producer.
When did you learn from him, like from working with him?
Yeah, to surround yourself with talented people and to sit back and to only produce the problem. You don't have to micromanage. You sit back, you hire the right people, and you just put out a fire here and there. He's a shrewd guy.
And lastly, do you have advice for teens who want to get into acting? You've been very successful. Some advice for them?
Oh, sure. It's one thing to want to be famous. It's another thing to want to be a storyteller. They're two different things. So, I don't know about just wanting to be famous. I've just always had a real love of storytelling. And so that took me through my high school drama department and then just into any play I could get in. And also, I guess my advice would be if you want to come out here, please come out here with some practical experience, because you'll really have an edge over other people. So try to do all the theater you can.
Definitely. Can I get a quick picture with you?